Hello, dear listeners. Welcome to another episode of Homeopathy for everyone. Today, I'm going to share my understanding of Silicea remedy. Silicea is a polycrust remedy, means it is used in a lot of conditions and ailments. It has thousands of rubric reported in repertory. Keep in mind, Silicea is made from silicon oxide, which is a main component of sand, glass, natural stones, cement, or concrete. Which means most of our houses and buildings in the world are made of silicon. This shows its quality of maintaining a specific shape and being inflexible. It can break but not bend. It stands hard and keeps its shape at any cost. And this is the picture of Silicea as a remedy in homeopathy. Now let's talk about in details about Silicea. Of course, I will not share its complete materia medica, but I will share how you can spot a Silicea patient in your practice. Keep in mind that Silicea comes in third series. As I have already spoken about third series, that they have issues around personalities, identity, ego, relationship, or the choices. In my last video about Illumina, I have explained how Illumina become confused about his identity, choices, and personality. Silicea comes next to the Illumina, where they have formed or accepted fixed defined identity for themselves. That means this is me and this is my image, a very specific image. And any threat to this fixed identity or perception causes anxiety or issues in Silicea patients. Like we see its famous fear of exams. Silicea patients are not afraid of failures, but they have this fixed image about themselves. Let's say they think that they are a good student. And if they don't pass the exams, then they will lose their image in front of the family or friends. So they will hold on to what they consider their image or personality with all their might, and they will not let it go. Therefore, it's patient each time they get on the stage, they hope their image will be preserved, or their impression on the public will remain as good as they perceive. And if we see Silicea patients in office environment, if a Silicea patient writes an assessment and makes one mistake in his whole assessment, they will redo the whole assessment, because the feeling is, what impression will other have about me? They are constantly afraid of being discovered. This cover-up behavior makes this remedy as a psychotic remedy. Here it looks like Thuja as well, because Thuja is also psychotic remedy. Both remedies have this feeling of brittleness, like we see in Silicea, one of the best remedy in cases of brittle bones or nails. But Thuja is different in many ways. First, Thuja has this profound emptiness or lack of connection feeling. In Thuja, the fear of being discovered does not arise from identity related issues like we see in Silicea. But this feeling arises from the feeling that what if people will find that they are weak or deformed or sinner? It's like you are living in a religious society and constantly afraid that people will discover your non-religious ideas. Keep in mind, in Thuja, there is a very profound sensation of being pregnant, which is associated with females. But I have seen one case of a young male who came to me with stomach issues, and he has this very religious background, who had this very strong feeling that he is pregnant because he had a sexual relationship with another boy. So Thuja has this very strong sense of guilty and sin or fear of being discovered. But Silicea does not have this strong guilty feeling. I will explain Thuja in more details in any other video, but one thing which is worth to mention here is that in some cultures or society, being pregnant is something that you must hide from others, especially in some Indian or Pakistani families or some religious societies. As soon as women find out that she is pregnant, she is just cut off from the outer world. This behavior is typical psychotic behavior, hiding something odd from others or a fear of being discovered. I will talk in more details about Thuja and psychotic miasm in future videos. Now let's come back to the Silicea. As I mentioned earlier, that Silicea for them the most important feature is their concern. What do other people think about me? Sometimes you see Silicea patient as a victim of the family image or family expectation. They need to save the family image. They often feel that they have to put aside their own wishes for the sake of family, which we see usually in the joint family system. The rules at home or the cultural norms are too strict for them. There is no space for what they want for themselves. So they avoid confrontation, which leads to resentment or internalized anger. Silicea hates others for being different and forcing them to change their opinion. And they are really not good at handling criticism. Criticism makes them feel awful. They start to cry and get very angry. And interestingly, if someone shows them sympathy, then they feel humiliated because they feel it is done out of pity for their weakness. They want to be seen as a strong person. Here, Silicea looks like another remedy, which is lac asinum. It has very strong stubbornness, like Silicea. They have also issues related to work, family, burdens, and a lot of anger. I have seen a lot of anger and stubbornness in lac asinum, which usually confused with Silicea, because Silicea has also this very strong stubbornness, जिसको हम जिद्दीपन कहते हैं. Silicea में जिद्दीपन बहुत ज़्यादा होता है. इसी तरह मैंने lac asinum में बहुत शदीद जिद्दीपन देखा है, और एंगर, फीलिंग ऑफ दिस ह्यूमिलिएटेड. अगर उनसे कोई उनकी हेल्प करना चाहता है, उनसे सॉरी करता है, तो वो उनको लगता है कि दे आर डूइंग आउट ऑफ पिटी. सो दे ऑल्सो गेट वेरी एंग्री, एंड दे हैव ऑल्सो इश्यूज रिलेटेड टू द फैमिली, एंड स्पेशली बर्डन. दे फील अ लॉट ऑफ बर्डन ऑफ द फैमिली वर्क. And lac asinum also have this feeling of seen as a strong person, which we also see in Silicea. I will explain lac asinum in more details in future videos, but keep in mind that lac asinum looks very much like Silicea, where it shares the themes of this stubbornness, anger, work or burden, family related issues. Now come back to the Silicea. You can also spot Silicea families in your surrounding. Like for some families, family image is so important. It may be difficult for them to accept if there is any irregularities in the family. For instance, if someone is born handicapped in the family, or a divorced daughter, or you can see an educated family got a son who hasn't finished his studies. For them, it is too much embarrassing that they have this handicap child, or they have this divorced daughter, and they feel too much fingers pointed at them. In this situation, mostly these families or these people cut off from the outer world and just withdraw from the day-to-day activities and just focus on their own family. जैसा कि हम बाज़ फैमिलीज़ में देखते हैं कि बेटी की डाइवोर्स के बाद या बच्चे की पैदाइश के बाद जो कि हैंडीकैप हो, फैमिलीज़ कट ऑफ हो जाती हैं एम्बैरसिंग की वजह से, कि लोग क्या कहेंगे या हम कैसे फेस करेंगे. दे हैव दिस वेरी नोबल काइंड ऑफ इमेज. ऐसी फैमिलीज जो कट ऑफ हो जाएं, दूसरों से हट जाएं, सिर्फ फैमिली पे फोकस कर रहे हो, यू मस्ट थिंक ऑफ दिस रेमेडी. इन दिस सेंस, Silicea is also a wonderful remedy for married people who are stuck in the family image. They find it difficult to balance their relationship with others. If they are too friendly with their wife, then this is not acceptable in the family customs. So they have to be rigid and cold-hearted like his father or uncle. जैसा हम बाज़ अपनी families में देखते हैं कि शौहर को पुश किया जाता है family की तरफ से कि he must show his macho, angry kind of पर्सनैलिटी, ताकि उसका औरत पे एक दबाव रहे। ऐसे लोग सारी जिंदगी अपने बच्चों के साथ, अपनी फैमिलीज के साथ बहुत ज्यादा क्लोज रिलेशनशिप नहीं कर सकते। उसकी वजह ये होती है कि उनको प्री डिफाइंड एक पर्सनालिटी दे दी जाती है कि जो मर्द होता है घर का वो ऐसा सख्त होता है, वो ऐसे नहीं करता, वो ऐसे नहीं करता, जिसकी वजह से वो अपनी फैमिली के साथ बहुत ज्यादा क्लोज नहीं हो पाते, वो मजाक नहीं कर पाते, वो फ्रेंडली नहीं हो पाते। दैट वी सी इन सम फैमिली वेरी कॉमनली. Then Silicea is also a great remedy for newly married people as well. Why? Because many young males contact me before marriage and ask for the help. They usually think that they lack sexual strength or they will not able to satisfy their partner. Then mostly I ask a typical question: what will happen? Then usually Silicea patient will reply that what will happen if my wife or family find out that I'm weak? Then I will lose my whole image of being strong male. Or how could I face my wife in this circumstances? Here again, we see this issue of fixed defined image of being a macho man, and relationship issue, which is a key feature of a third series. Then there is another side of Silicea. Maybe some people think Silicea people are confused or lack self-confidence. But sometimes Silicea patients are cold and hard to satisfy or convince. They do not listen others. That's why they appear stubborn. They can appear arrogant, but also courageous and daring. Like you see in Chaudhary in Punjab culture, where he has to keep his custom intact. They will hold on to what they consider their identity or custom with all their might, and they will not let it go. And then these parents could produce a Silicea children, those children who need Silicea, or also this anacardium or Thuja. And you can also find these children very fearful from the outer world, which we see in the Silicea group. Stramonium, Hyoscyamus, Belladonna. These groups are very common in those families as well. And then you can also find this Liliaceae group, this Veratrum group, this Lilium tigrinum, white lily. This whole family also is very related to Silicea, this image issues. You must think of these remedies in those families. Now let's talk about Silicea children's. Silicea is very commonly used remedy in children related issues. Silicea patients or children are very timid, shy when they first meet someone, but once they know you, then they are okay with that. I have seen Silicea children's only like to eat one specific kind of food or one specific kind of fruits, or they only like a specific kind of clothes. Let's say if they eat white bread, then they only want to eat white bread. And if you give them a little brown bread, then they don't like to eat. वो ये कहते हैं ये जली हुई है, ये कैसी है, वो उसकी शेप के ऊपर they says कि it looks odd. और इसी तरह अगर उनको कपड़े डिफरेंट से दे दिए जाए, they don't want to wear it. Then these kids are also very stubborn in their life approach. Like if they decide one thing, then for them it is very difficult or hard to change their mind or routine. This we can also see in adults, especially those who follow a very rigid routine, like people from the armed forces who are rigid in specific patterns in their life. Here the bottom line is the same. Any change made in their identity will be unacceptable. There is only one way to keep his identity. Hold on to it rigidly. For them, rules or boundaries cannot be flexible or extended. Now let's talk about its potency. Silicea is used in almost all potencies from 6x to cm. Of course, according to the condition. Jito listeners, this was today's talk. If you have any questions, comments, please do let me know. See you next time with another video. Bye.